Better put me up. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me on a Wednesday evening. I see we have the entire world here. That's pretty cool. I love hearing where everyone's from, and I even like getting your preempting questions because it gives me an idea of what you guys might want to talk about outside of what I have planned. Um, I thought I saw Paris there. Phoenix, we got Florida. I even saw Windsor, Ontario, and it's been maybe 35 years since I've been in Windsor, Ontario, but that's a little gem down there, Windsor, Ontario. I hope everyone's having a great week. It's been a very interesting week. I'm in Southeast Asia, and it's crazy what's happening over here, and actually what's coming from Southeast Asia to the United States. It's almost like a tidal wave that you guys don't know that's happening yet, and you're going to see a lot more coming. And talking to some plastic surgeons about what they see happening in kind of the aesthetic world and where surgery goes compared with what's happening over here, and how that's going to play into the United States aesthetic market in terms of how it's going to affect facelifts and even how AI is going to affect this. San Jose, wonderful. Saw you guys had a game yesterday. New York, I'm going to be over there Monday night in New York. Not this one, but in a week, there's a huge event over there I'm excited for. We have Dr. Paul Nassif, myself, Gary V. I was interested to see, I put up on the community section, I put up to see how many people knew Gary V. And I don't think you guys know who Gary V is, but I'm sure you know Dr. Nassif from Botched. Dr. Shino Bay will be there. And we have a whole host. I think there's about 10 docs coming in. We have a big event. It's somewhere downtown New York. So you guys know I don't usually go to New York very much. So I'm looking forward to that. Missouri, good. Thank you. So anyway, I on the community post, follow that. But one of the things that we talked about on there was synthetic fat. So I want to talk about that today. I'll tell you the latest updates. Not synthetic fat, it's kind of what we call allogenic, means it's from our same species, but it's made. So it's from other people. So fat is the story of all aesthetic companies right now because of the Ozempics. And I'm going to tell you about the newest ones coming on the market. Ones that build your muscle. Is that crazy? They build your muscle. So I liken GLP-1 to kind of like when Henry Ford invented the factory line in the Ford. What was that first car? The first Ford ever built. They were all the same. I think you couldn't even choose the color. They were all black. That's your Ozempic. There's 4 more generations coming, and I want to tell you about that because I know a lot of people are scared to be on GLP-1s. Maybe you're on them. And we learn a lot about facial fat because of what we learned from the pitfalls of the first GLP-1s, which were Ozempic and Wegovy. Those are the same. So we're going to talk about that, but you're going to be blown away by the drugs incorporated with those that build your muscle. So Model T, thank you, SG2326. When the brain ages, I don't take creatine. I don't travel when I'm going to all these different countries and borders. I'm scared to travel with a white powder. And so I'm off my creatine. So there you go, Model T Ford. Have the picture in my head of the factory line. They were all black. You can have any color you want. That's what Henry Ford said. You can have any color you want as long as it's black. So he invented the line, how you make it, the factory line. So okay, so but so we have injectable synthetic fat, and in fact, I think New York is the number, and that's from cadavers. New York is the number 1 spot where that's being injected by volume. But funny enough, they're running out of it because there's not enough cadavers, so dead people to take it from. We're going to talk about what that means. So fat is the conversation here. And on this channel, we have been talking about fat for 12, 15 years. So it's not new to us, but yes, the GLP-1s and the weight loss, the rapid weight loss. And I'm going to tell you the magic number of how much weight you can lose before it affects your fat on the body versus the face and what to do about it. I was on a call with a bunch of doctors the other day of what's the consensus? What do you do for that? So let's go through the slide of our run show. Creatine, Dave, thanks for Dave 10. Creatine's been a game changer for me. Look, this is the way I think. Not medical advice, none of this is, but for my clients, including me, every man and woman, because women don't think they should be on creatine. You guys do because you're educated, you know what's happening here. But most women don't believe that creatine's for women. But if you're thinking of just a dose, women think at least 2.5 to 3 grams a day, men 5 grams. The mega dosing we can talk about, but those are mainly rat studies. But yes, for the brain, for the body, for sleep, and muscle load. So muscle in the face, and it's one of the things I'm studying over here in Asia. One of the things I'm working on is the role of muscle in your face. So I know everyone's focused on fat. You and I, we on this channel have done fat for years. One of the things I'm studying in a factory and lab is the muscle, because muscle takes up volume. And you guys know if you're on creatine, you gym goers, all you people know that if you get a little wrinkly and crinkly skin and you go to the gym, you start gaining a little bit of muscle because you're lifting weights like you should, and you're on a bit of creatine, the wrinkles go away. It's because you're taking up volume. Might not be the exact collagen effect, but you're taking up volume, just like a filler takes up volume. I've been taking your creatine supplement, makes me irritable. I can't take it, which is very disappointing. Thanks for sharing that. Watch my video on glow dosing and start that. And it's why I have gummies with the powder so that you can step it up slowly. Other companies make them. You have to be on mine, but obviously we triple test all those things. But start slow and work your way up. People with stomach irritation can normally get over that. Let's go to the slide on the run a show. I got a little PowerPoint for you because this is so important. So what I'm going to go through 3 reasons the facial fat shifts over 45. And what's so magical about 45, and we can talk about it, but you guys probably know things change at 45. Your self-care routine changes much. Then we're going to go through the new cadaver fat injections. And I'm really interested to hear what you guys think after I present it. I want to know your thoughts on that segment of the market. It's huge, you guys. It's huge money. And I'm going to decipher that through the pitfalls of that and what I think of that. Exactly what to do to protect the structure, because that's what you're here for. What do you do? The magic weight loss number that I was on a big call the other day, and we polled a lot of people to see how much can you lose, what to do about it, and I'll tell you what you can do if you're losing more than that number, how you can prevent the wrinkles, crinkles, and that gaunt look. And then 3 hidden habits. A lot of people do things that are actually harming their facial fat. Let's stop those. And then there's a healthy trend that a lot of people do. I was going to say especially women, but I think it's 50-50 on that one. And it really harms the face. I make a lot of money on it, of course, because these people need a lot of volume. They need a lot of skin resurfacing. And funny enough, you tell me when we go through the PowerPoint slides, there are people that don't often care about their face. So I don't know, it's a part of their culture, but the ones that do, and they're often forced to at a certain point. So at a certain point, you're looking for a new job, new relationship, whatever, you start to look at your face again. You're like, when they go to correct that problem, it's 10 to 20, $50,000 plus. So we'll go through that. And then Amelia asks, Dr. Johnny, it looks like my facial fat moved to the front and lost temple fat rapidly. It's exactly what we're talking about. Will laser like HIFU help? Well, if you guys saw, I was in Miami at a show the other day, and I got my Ulthera hat over here. The Ulthera people were there, and I just popped in and got an Ulthera treatment down here. Ulthera will go through HIFU and what it does, but Ulthera is not going to shift your fat. But let me give you a little pearl right off the bat of something that we're just a group of facial plastic surgeons are talking about, and that was this. Look, there's a lot, because plastic surgery facelifts, deep plane facelifts, that's what people go in and ask for now, deep plane facelifts have skyrocketed up. You guys know this, even at young ages. Well, here's what's happening. There's always been a 5% side effect profile with those. So that's 5 out of 100 people, 1 in 20. That's high. It's why most plastic surgeons won't get a facelift for themselves. Okay, so if you ask, hey, what's the direction? So they're not going to really like fillers because people overfill. They don't necessarily like biostimulators because it produces collagen and scar tissue, something we can talk about, and may make the facelift a 20-minute longer procedure, and that's 20 grand, 20 minutes. So the consensus was devices are going to increase. Obviously, in Southeast Asia here, you saw I did a video on Zerf. That was a Korean style Ulthera that's now available in the US and kind of taken it by storm. Well, there's 3 more coming in short order, and some that are there, they're permeating into the US that you don't even know about they're there. But they're not going to shift your facial fat. But you do these every 6 months to a year. That's the main difference for American and Canada. Remember, they cost 5 grand, so no wonder you only do them every few years, right? Luckily for me, I didn't have to pay for mine. That's way better. Start your social media and your YouTube, become an influencer, and maybe you get it for free. I don't know. But I just happened to be there and there's a spot. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And I don't use numbing or anything like that. So I'm a very good guinea pig. Can a 30-year-old use NUA? Absolutely. A 20-year-old can use NUA. It has built-in safety. So what I want, Susan from Portland, how are you? I'm going to be there for a day. Okay, so let's pop into a quick PowerPoint. I hope I'm going to try my best that we don't hit a blip in the screen here. So, and after that, I'm going to take your questions, but this is really important stuff. So let's share that if we can, if it's still on there. And then, okay, let me pop up here and let's go through this. Okay, so I made this up for you guys. It's a short PowerPoint. Don't worry, this isn't long. But this is how important this is. So facial fat after 45. What's so important at 45? It's just simply that the body, it's all of your growth factors, your own eggs are protected. You make cancer cells every day, as an example. And our immune system bats them off, eats them up, and gives them for the body. All of our processes, including collagen, slows over time. 45, estrogen declines, the line goes straight down. In a male, it's more subtle. Women know. At 50, they come in and think, oh my gosh, huge problems. We don't have to tell us. Our bodies change. So when it happens, so we're going to switch to. Okay, we're going to stop. That's not going to go. Okay. I guess that's lagging. Okay, great. Let's do the PowerPoint in a different way. Obviously, I'm not at home with 250 megabits going through. Let's see. Give me the questions. You guys have audio is glitching. Okay, that should be better now. You let me know. Okay. Once I know we're established here, I'm going to come back to, we'll present the PowerPoint in a different way. Let me know in the, yeah, okay, great. So we don't have, can you let me know in the comments, you can hear me now. Okay, we're better. I'm going to share it in a different way. I don't have the bandwidth. Thank you. I have the mental bandwidth, as far as I know. I don't have the internet bandwidth. So let me share that with you in a different way. Let's see if this, and you guys let me know. Now I can see your comments too. We won't have a PowerPoint pointer and we won't have visuals that are floating in. That's the only difference here. So, but I can go through it with you. So the facial fat after 45, why is it so important? Well, it produces estrogen locally. We know it makes us look younger. I'm going to show you a slide in a minute. Once lost, thank you guys, sound is good, perfect. Once lost, it rarely returns naturally. I don't mean to be bombastic about it, but at 25, things happen quicker, so you're gonna be fine. 35 may be fine, but once you hit 45, which is typically when people have gained their body weight and go on the GLP-1s, the Ozempics and so on, that it's harder to get it back. But keep in mind, also, people aren't doing their home skincare, they're getting sun, all the different factors, but it's hard to get back, put it that way. Supports your bone contours. Now, if you don't have a little bit of fat over your bone or bony areas, they become angular, the skin gets loose, it adds to aging. Think temporal hollowing, okay? But here's what fat in the face was meant to do from the power above that created us. The facial fat acts as a lubricant for muscles to slide. That's what it does. It cushions ligaments, and it's think of it like oil for two surfaces. So when we dissect a face, that's what it looks like. Okay, great. So that's why it's really important. Now, this is just so you know what I'm talking about. This is facial lipoatrophy. When did I learn about it? This is 2000, the year 2000. That's when Sculptra was able to be brought into the United States on compassionate basis. It wasn't FDA approved here, but we were able to use it on a compassionate basis because people had HIV lipoatrophy from the drugs that treated HIV, and they would have a stigma. So you can see on the left, that's what it's the same process in a sense when you lose weight rapidly. But I wanted you to know what we're talking about with facial atrophy, lipoatrophy, and there's different, obviously, grades of it. Okay, what's this have to do with you if you're not on those drugs? That we're studying that process rapidly because we're seeing the changes with the drugs. I wanted to talk about this so everyone's aware. You need to be aware of what's coming. Coffee time. Okay. So these are, let me plug ourselves in here again, get some juice. Okay. So these are, I don't want to say synthetic fat. You're going to hear them called that. These are cadaver fat. This is cadaver fat put in a syringe to look like filler. And that's really important to know because people go and get filler. They don't even ask what they're getting. Hyaluronic acid. There's Juvalook, which has PDLA. There's in Asia now, so like we have tons of different ones. PLLA, Sculptra in filler, but this is fat. And how do they get it? Well, it comes from people that have donated their bodies. Okay, and now no one's told me yet from these companies, did they consent to use it for aesthetic or medical? So there are problems here. And I'm not against them. I think it's the future. It's not for me and it's not now. I don't want to be biased. I'm going to give you both sides. The beauty of it is it's fat. And I just told you how important fat is. It's in a syringe. You can walk into a clinic. You don't need to be tested for anything. And you're getting fat, not filler. That sounds amazing, right? Remember, if you're getting liposuction or you're getting lipo transfer, facial fat transfer, say, you got to go harvest that from maybe your love handle and maybe your lower abdomen. And you're going to say, great, doc, I love that. I got tons of fat. No, you're going to have a scar, you're going to have an incision, and you're going to get asymmetry because you're going to take it from one area or another. If you're having liposuction anyway, it makes good sense. But just to go get it put in your face, you're going to have a little surgical procedure, a little bit of a wound. You might have asymmetries, like I said, and it's not like you just go in and get a filler and you're out in 20 minutes. I can put a filler in a face in 10 minutes, just like I can fat without harvesting. So you see my point, how this is going to look so good to people. Let me give you a couple downsides. So right now there's Renuva and there's Aloclay. Like I said, I'm in Southeast Asia. There's more here being advertised. I don't know how approved they all are, but I see the banners for them everywhere. Okay, so the problem becomes, of course, they test for things that you might know, but we don't know all the viruses out there. And there's two things particularly you need to know about. Something called virions, which are viruses that are encapsulated in a protein coat. We don't know what they are. They exist. We don't know how they're going to maybe affect the body. And we don't you can't test for those. And then there's something called prions. Think of mad cow disease, right? That's a prion. That's a protein that unfolds in an unusual way, in a way that creates disease. In mad cow, Jakob Creutzfeldt, it does it in a way so that it affects the myelin or your nerves, right? And then the majority of people die. I'm not saying you're going to get it from this. I'm not hating on the product. My point is that we don't know. The data goes out how long? You're going to ask. There's no 3 to 5 year data. So the question becomes, would you put things in your body that don't have 3 to 5 year data? Again, I see how this can be huge. For me, it's not for me. It's not for my clients. It takes a lot. So why is it in New York? A lot of people getting in New York because they're spending 25 to 100 grand. Think of how many syringes you need for a butt lift or even to do in a face, and it doesn't all take. I could go on and on. I don't want to. I'm not here to scare you about this. I think it's the future. It's not here yet for me. It's probably not for you because it's in scarcity. And but people talk about Renuvo. Come get Renuvo. Great. If you're comfortable with it, it's wonderful. But just know you're not getting a syringe of hyaluronic acid that's been used in the body for 50 years that we know a lot on. So, okay, I'm going to move on because I don't want to bore you with that. Now, here's number one. The number one issue that women miss this. I don't see men miss this as much because of our diet, but chronic caloric deficit. Now, we'll talk about GLP-1 separately because I think it's important, but which fat pad you're going to ask, am I going to see this in first? Now, I'm not talking about GLP-1s or anything. I'm just talking about you guys walking around and not minding your protein, not taking enough calories and minding your protein. Which fat pads are you going to notice it in first? Well, the 3 that we inject the most in the world. Now, temples would be top, but most people aren't comfortable and should not be comfortable injecting temples. I make a living off of injecting temples. It's where I live. A, the type of product I use. B, I've been doing it for 30 years. C, I think it makes one of the biggest differences in a face because you also get a brow lift with it if done right. The mid face, of course. I'm in Asia right now. And so what? The mid face, that baby face, the round face, the deep medial fat pad here. And the under eyes is American style. Everyone's worried about their under eyes. There are better products, way better products over here that we can use than in America. Canada has a little better choice. But here's the key. Low protein worsens muscle and fat loss. So what do you want to look at? And I would challenge you to measure your protein for a week or two. Just see what you're getting. I try and do it. I get through a day or two because right now it's morning for me, right? So I'm in different time zones all the time. My diet's like crazy. But when I do try and measure my protein, a lot of times I'm like, wow, I'm under it. A gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight on your body. Let's say you're 150 pounds right now, and you should be 140 pounds. You want to take a gram of protein per your ideal body weight, which is 140. Okay, so that's a good rule of thumb. There are people that would say you need more. Some other people say, hey, that's hard on your kidneys. I think you probably could use more, but gives you an idea. But a lot of women that I see are undernourished in protein. But the other issue you need to know is it's rapid weight loss that ages faster than gradual. And that's one of the biggest problems why Ozempic gets a bad name. So it's the rapid. And then, of course, after menopause, that's when it's very difficult to change your facial fat if you don't have proper lifestyle, diet, exercise, and all the things we talk about after menopause. Okay, so I put this up the other day, and it's interesting because you get the workout people that they get triggered that I'm in their zone, that I'm talking in their, I'm talking about weightlifting or anything like that. Well, when I can't do real sports, I do go to the gym. I am a doctor and I study this stuff, but I'm not a personal trainer. So I'm not coming to get into your zone of work. Don't worry. But people get triggered. But this is from a study. It was a paper that looked at a group of studies. And why I bring this up is because I tell you every day, when you're going to go to the gym or whatever activity you're doing, think about going for 15 or 20 minutes. If you think that it's this big deal and you're going to go for an hour or two, for most of us, we're going to be like, oh gosh, I'm going to go get pizza and beer. So make it like it's a small workout. But what this showed, we know that muscle is youth. Look at the amount of muscles in the face. You need your facial musculature. It's why if you do too much toxin, you don't have the movement, you don't pull on bone, the bone gets what? Atrophies. If you break your arm and this bicep doesn't move on my shoulder, my elbow, I'm going to get osteoporosis of this limb until I start moving I get out of my cast. Okay, that's what muscle does. That's why vibration plates and all those things are being used. But here's what the study showed. For strength, so there's strength and there's hypertrophy of muscle. For strength of your muscle, at 2 sets, you start to level off. So when you went to 4, 5, 6 sets, you didn't get more strength. You can do 2 challenging sets. For hypertrophy of the muscle, it started to level off at about 11 sets. Now, people aren't going to do 11 sets, right? But to show you that's where your gains leveled off. It doesn't mean that's what you need. But why this is important and why it's an area of interest for me is we're studying facial muscle. So if you guys are out there using galvanics, that's electrical charge for the face, but it's not EMS, electromyostimulation or electromuscle stimulation, whatever you want, because the current works differently. Your galvanics are being used for absorption of products, positive and negative ions going in and out of the skin. EMS type of products, of which I'm not happy with what's on the market right now because they're also stimulating muscles that pull the face down. We only want to stimulate the ones that lift, okay? Maybe the masseter, which I'll talk about in a minute, will be different. But understanding that this was an interesting study, hopefully to motivate you, because we're all busy, and just think of going to the gym and lifting for a short period of time. And you'll find you'll end up staying there for an hour, put on some music, listen to Rajani videos, whatever you're going to do, and you'll stay longer. Okay, so we can talk more about that, but and you can take a picture of this if you want or whatever, but the point of this was, this is for the workout people that were triggered that I'm talking about workouts, is muscle. They looked at a lot of people here. They looked at a lot of studies. So for muscle growth, they looked at 35. That's great. For muscle, for strength analysis, they looked at 66 studies. But look at the amount of participants. They're looking at over 3,000 people. Strength gains leveled off faster, about twice. And remember, strength versus hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is going to look good. Strength is building your bone. It's supporting your core that helps your spine. I'm more worried about strength, although the interesting thing in the face with EMS, if we get it right, you're going to be able to get volume in your face because we're building not only the lifting muscles, but the muscles. The lifting muscles, pretty cool, have to be in the mid face, which is where you want a bit of volume, and extend up to the under eye, orbicularis oculi, and your zygomaticus major minor muscles in the face. Let me answer this quick question on the side. How come fat graft transfers fail, but this cadaver fat would work? It fails too. Great question. So when you say fail, for people watching, so you guys know, if you do fat grafting, and of course, in 2010, a bunch of companies came to med spas with just little kits that you could take fat and put it back in the face. So that way you don't have to get fillers, right? People with autoimmune diseases, filler face wasn't a big thing in 2010, but there were people that didn't want it. Okay. It didn't take off. Why? Because just like if you get a facelift and fat transfer, anywhere from 15 to 20, sometimes 60%, 70% of the fat doesn't go away. Doesn't stay. It goes away. 15, 20 to 60, could be more. Okay. But fat is rich in stem cells. And one of the theories of fat transfer is that the fat doesn't stay in hypertrophy. The fat, most of it goes away anyway. And it's the stem cells that make your own fat plump up more, because fat cells don't divide for a living unless they're really pushed, unless you're really gaining weight. What fat cells do is they shrink and they expand. So you pretty much have the fat that you have. So the cadaver fat does fail, just like regular fat transfer. It fails. Okay. So the number, I don't know, but I'll tell you, it's very expensive. It's prohibitively expensive for you and I. Most of us can't. I mean, I don't know. Would you spend 50 to 100 grand for your butt? I guess if you're making that much money off of it. What do I mean by making money off of it? When people look good, when they're influencers in Hollywood, all those things, right? By the way, they're putting it in breasts. Okay, so people make money from how they look. This is a huge part of it. You guys know what do they call it? Looks maxing? So you know looks maxing, it's a big deal. I think I don't know if looks maxing infers women too, but I see all the guys online doing the looks maxing, trying to grow the jaw, all those things, right? So for people that where their body or their face means money, Hollywood's the one that comes to mind. Of course, they're going to pay 100 grand because they're getting that. That's like chump change. So depending on where you live or what you want to do, but for the most average people, yeah, it's not a lot of it's going to take, and you're going to be disappointed. Let's move on from that. But I wanted to go through that study a little bit for you guys. So muscle can okay. So to finish this one up, muscle contraction signals your bone density. Bone supports facial fat compartments. Less muscle, and you get less structural support. Okay, so we know that part. We talked about creatine a little bit. It's one of the biggest ones I would say that you want to think about in terms of a. Nothing is a no-brainer in life. I think the one people get worried about hair loss. I don't see that. I can go through that. It's a very small study, and it was analyzed wrong. We don't see that in real life. Maybe some anecdotally. Remember, a guy at 50 who goes on creatine is maybe already losing his hair, and then he goes on the creatine. Now you're watching your hair. You go, oh, I've lost my hair because of creatine. They're linked because at the same time both are happening, but it's not shown. That's not what's happening. It's not causing it. But you can watch your hair. But it's kidneys. If you have good kidneys, you're fine. If your kidneys are already compromised, then that's the people I wouldn't put it in. My creatine gummies are delish. Thank you, Meredith. Yeah, I like them too. The problem is you can eat a few during the day, and but that's not a problem because a lot of people are high dosing them. But sometimes I find myself eating more than I should. I've been taking creatine for the better part of 30 years and haven't noticed any correlation with hair loss. Thank you. MAN Physique Entertainment. Interesting. And it looks like it's a man because that's a big bicep in your picture. So there's a male saying that. Yeah. Remember, for females, you're going to get male pattern hair loss anyway if you're on testosterone 2 or hormone replacement therapy. Crypto in Texas, don't be sorry. Crypto's in a short squeeze right now. No wonder you're late. You're watching your crypto. I don't blame you. Okay, that's creatine. We can talk more about that if you want in dosing. I personally don't really mega dose. I know people do. Of course, if I sit here and tell you you should mega dose, I'm going to sell more creatine. That's not what we do here. I think the people who do need a little more sometimes under stress go up to 10 grams. We're watching megadosing, but a lot of the studies are in rats. What percentage of things that happen in rats or mice translate over to humans that actually pan out in some way? It's only about 12%. So not just because it's happening and high dosing is good in mice and rats. I'm not yet convinced that I need to take 20 grams. I get it, and I know the people that do, and I respect them. Creatine monohydrate is what I use, but yes, you can use different ones. This is just to say the masseter. Remember, muscle pull on bone is very beneficial. And when I talk about looks maxing, comment for you guys over there. The gentleman that commented here might know, because if you're in the workout world, you're following looks maxing. I don't think that term applies to women, but I don't know. But all those guys, and I know a lot of women, they chew hard things to build up their masseter. One of the things, did I say that hormone replacement makes your hair fall out in women? I said if you're on a relatively high testosterone dose, you can get male pattern hair loss, which you need to watch for. Just like you need to balance it, just like you can get acne. But back to the masseter. One of the reasons that the male jawline is thought not to be strong in our kids these days is because they're not eating hard food like they did 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, whatever it was. And because they're not eating from a young age, during the jaw development stage, when the bone has a lot of plasticity to it, the bone's not seeing resistance, so the bone becomes weaker and the jawlines are weaker now than they were. So people who are doing mewing, Dr. Mike Mew, people who are chewing those things, when you're young at that stage where the bone has plasticity, yes, that's very interesting. And I think there's some merit to that. After 30, 25, 27, you get remodeling of the bone, but not to where you can probably change it with masticating it enough. Okay. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, anyone see the Beauty series? Someone else mentioned to me the Beauty series. I got to find out where that is. You guys know I don't watch TV, so I got to figure out. But sometimes I'd like to watch it on a plane or something. They never have that stuff on there. So that's the jawline. Mistake number 3. This is one I'm going to get. The people don't like this one, but it's chronic long distance activity. And the most common you see is running, marathon. But why I put this picture in the background is it's not just that you're running 26 miles a day or whatever, but you're running in the sunlight, in the elements. And like this person doesn't have a hat on, there's things you can do to prevent it, but just chronic long distance. Because when you go to the gym, when I'm at the shows, if you go to the gym with one of the gals there, a bunch of girls are going to the gym, okay, let's go to the gym. What do? I go immediately to the weight rack. I might go for 10 minutes on the bike. They're on that thing that where you hold the hands and you're running. They're on that thing for like an hour and a half, and then no weight training. I'm a runner, a marathon, half marathon. It's great. There's nothing wrong. Very few people's joints can take that. You're not a gazelle. You're not a gazelle in the African desert. We weren't meant to run for 100 miles a day. But you get a sustained caloric deficit, you get that endurance look, you're in the sun most commonly, and you get that cachectic wasting of the face, and chronic cortisol elevation. It all leads to facial lipoatrophy. As a note on all of this facial lipoatrophy, the reason I wanted to preempt you is you're going to see a huge explosion because let me take you through what's probably going to be the first $1 trillion weight loss. This is going to blow your mind. So the first $1 trillion drug is probably going to happen in the next, I don't know, FDA approval in the next 2 to 3 years, but you're going to be able to get it sooner on the black market a little bit. You guys know peptides and everything. So you have the first generation Wegovy, Ozempic, I told you. Second generation, when you have the Mounjaros, right, and the Zepbounds, you guys know those. Those have GLP-1 plus GIP. The next generation is going to have glucagon in it. And you guys comment on the side. I'm very interested to hear. It's called retatrutide. So it's Reta for short. That has glucagon in it. And those of you that are in the industry, fitness, everything, you say, Rajani, glucagon increases your blood sugar. Yes, it does. But the GLP-1 and the GIP regulate it down. I'm using very rough terms just to keep this simple. No one wants on a Wednesday night to go deep into this, but glucagon, yeah, it does raise your sugar, but you're going to balance that with your GLP-1s. But here's what it does. It saves your facial muscle because it balances the sugar and you get it revs up your metabolism, your thermogenic effect in a sense. So that balance, that new one, Reta. Now you guys are getting Reta. Yeah, you just heard about Reta, Marie S. And you're on this channel because you want to hear this stuff first. I know it's cutting edge, but there's something you got to know about Reta. So it does not seem like you're getting the facial wasting. Now, this isn't the one that's building the muscle. I'm going to tell you about that in a sec. There's one that actually makes you into a Hulk. But this one, the glucagon, increases your sugar, seems to save your, and balances out with the GLP-1 GIP, seems to save your facial fat. This is what we call the third generation that's coming. But here's the problem. It will be FDA approved probably this year. So we're 2026. You can get it compounded right now. So you can get it. But the company that spent billions to make it, obviously, will have the rights to that. So when you're getting your Reta right now, they're going after those compounding pharmacies making it, and they're coming in, I'm not going to name countries, but other countries where you're getting impure product now. So, and there might be impurities in it. That's the biggest problem. Same with peptides. So if you're on Reta, you're going to see the reduction of availability in the United States. But the beauty is Of course, these companies, I don't know, is it going to be a $2,000 a month drug when it comes out? I don't know. They got to make their money back, big pharma. But Retta is your next generation. But before we go into the big Q&A that you guys can ask, let me just tell you about the next generation. And there's 20 more of these come down the pipeline. But if you're looking at muscle, there's something now that we can even add, like a myostatin modulator that stops inhibition of breaking down muscle. And if you look at certain animals that have this genetic feature, they have large muscles. This is what's coming into. So think of it as I want to use the word myostatin regulator. I'm using that very specifically because there's various mechanisms of modulating your myostatin. But it can literally, you can sit there, take this drug and look. I don't know who's a strong guy on I don't watch TV. I don't know the famous people you guys watch. You can gain muscle and look like you went to the gym without going to the gym. Think about it. That's your $1 trillion drug coming up. And imagine taking that. You're not going to have to worry about what you had with the Model T Ford. I mean, this is your self-driving Tesla right here. So that's what's coming down the pike for your replacement. You're going to look at your Ozempic and Wegovy and think that they're already dinosaurs, but you're going to really think that. So just know that that's coming. So what I'm saying to you, lift heavy. Now you start slowly, always. You don't want to hurt yourself, but the goal is to lift heavy 2 to 4 times a week. Just think of 2 times a week, you're doing yourself a huge favor. Prioritize protein and creatine, shorter and strategic cardio, protect your sleep, very much protect your sleep. And you want to think about the long-term architecture of your face. You want to do everything to maintain your skin because these drugs are only going to get better and better. The injectable fat's going to get better and better. So think of yourself on the monkey bars in terms of avoiding a facelift, avoiding any harsh procedures or first-generation drugs like Ozempic, because the ones coming are going to be way better. So if you can hold off, if you can do all the things, if you get your home spa going, if you can, as I said, with the RFs that are here in Southeast Asia where I'm at now, there's about 15 easily that are trying to come to the US, and there's 2 that are going to be there that you've never heard of, because people are going to do these skin tightening procedures like I'm over here now, every 6 months to a year. People go in every month and get something done. That's coming to the United States. So the combo of chronic deficit, too much endurance, not enough strength, that's your recipe. So that's what, let's see, I'm cutting myself off. I'll move back here. So that is, again, the monkey bar analogies is a good one. AI is changing absolutely everything. And what you think is not possible right now is absolutely going to be possible. And not just 10 years down the road like we used to think. So much is solved by AI. So wish I had waited for the newer ones. No ass and crepey arms. Yes, sorry about that, Carrie. It's true. And like anything, it's just kind of like with fillers. I'd rather get biostimulators than fillers. Just a little bit of filler. I'd rather get more biostimulators in my face. That's what I do. But people went overboard with fillers too quick. The first vial of Restylane was FDA approved in the United States. I had one of the first 50 in my hand. That was 2003. Okay. Botox, I was there for that. So we had Botox and Restylane. So Restylane was used first. 2007, Radius came. That changed a lot. And that was a biostimulator, but we really didn't know in 2007 that it was a biostimulator till we hyper-diluted it. Dr. Johnny, getting ready to start creatine. Can I just use the gummies without purchasing the powder as well? Should I just start with one gummy? Yeah, I have videos on glow dosing. You can certainly go with gummies. When people get to 5 grams, start the powder. But initially, just go with the gummies. Start with one gummy. There's nothing wrong. There's no rush here. 1 or 2 gummies a week, go to 2 to 4. Each gummy is 1.25 grams. So you can work your way up to 4 gummies. Yes. So, yeah. You spelled it wrong. Morlin. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's been out for Smorlin's been out for a long, long time. Thanks for telling us about the future of weight loss meds. Absolutely. Most people don't talk about this stuff. I guess my biggest worry with the new ones coming, like Retta, is that people are getting these, and people are getting copper peptides and everything. My biggest worry is because Big Pharma, and in this case, they got to make their money back from this. I do get it, but because they're putting the clamps on your sources from compounding pharmacies, you're getting them from other countries, and you're going to see a lot more side effects. If you go to places where these are common, LA, California is big. When you go to California, you go out to dinner, someone goes, "Oh yeah, I'm on," they'll give you 5 peptides. Do you know how many paramedic calls in those areas? It's just like drug abuse centers in our country. Paramedics, they're used to these calls because a lot of the peptides that people are taking cause reactions. And even if you take ones, some of the side effects normally with some of them are going to be that you just don't feel well for an hour or two, and people freak out. You kind of should freak out because you don't know what you got infused into your body, but they'll be never FDA approved. You're not going to see these peptides FDA approved because there's no money. They'll always be able to be compounded. That's a problem. So if you know what you're getting, you're okay. That's the bottom line of peptides. I know you guys are on copper peptides as well. Nowadays, everyone's taking glutathione, NAD. Do they really help the skin? Short answer, no. I like NAD. It's good. Pop it up when you're down or low. I don't put that stuff in my body. I take 0 drugs. I'm just not. I want to do everything. I want to work out. I want to look at my lifestyle first and go, what the heck am I doing wrong that I need that stuff? If my energy's low, why? I'm not a low energy person, so I don't have that problem. Work more and sleep more and eat your food. But I do like NAD infusions if they're working for you. You're going to feel unwell while they infuse. Does CO2 Fraxel cause fat loss? I love CO2. I have CO2, done CO2 since 2007. The first one I bought, Active FX, from Luminous. Now I have a different one. No. CO2 is a 10,600 nanometer wavelength. It is attracted to water. You can adjust them, but anyone using a CO2, and you need to be good to use a CO2. For instance, in Asia here, everyone's using pico laser, nano laser, because CO2, PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, is so common here. So CO2 is best for skin type 1 to 3. I've had a CO2 on my face. I got to be very cautious, even though I'm not prone to hyperpigmentation. But for fat, no. In general, you don't have to worry about that. Be worried about your RF more, and someone who does not know how to use HIFU, high intensity focused ultrasound, or ultrasound like Ulthera. Are red light mats safe? Yes. Okay. So red light mats, I'm a big proponent of red light mats. The real ones, and I go to factories for this stuff. I know a lot about I'm not the number one physicist by any means in red light, but I'm one of the top people who sees the effect in patients. But yes, think about 630 nanometers and 830 nanometers for your mat. You could go up to 900. I would not do anything that is a laser type of a LED facial or a laser mat. Here's why. Laser is, obviously I've run lasers for 25 years, you guys, 30 maybe. Laser means it's a coherent beam of light, okay? If you were truly getting a laser mat or a laser mask, it would burn your eye out if you looked at it. They can't do that, okay? So what they do is they put diffusers in to that coherent piece of light to diffuse it. Well, what does an LED mask do that you purchase? LEDs by nature are not lasers, they're diffuse light. So anyone telling you that they have a laser mask at your home, it may have started out as coherent light, but it absolutely spreads before it gets to your body. And do not go, in my opinion, and I'm darker skinned, so I can in many ways hide the discoloration, if you want to put it that way. But I would not go over 830 nanometers in your mat or your mask. As we go above 1,000 nanometers, we see pigment changes. We see too many side effects for what you're getting. One of the things you guys had asked me today, this video is not about any particular special for you guys, but scrolling, I should mention, scrolling in the bottom is your text line. And you guys probably already read it, but if you text to that number, because everyone's like, you're doing a live stream, what's the sale? I want to buy this, I missed out on this. If you text to this number, 541-287-7384, and you type in VIP, you'll get a percent off code. So everything store wide, I think it's 15% off. And so that's how you get the code you need. Plus you'll get these wristbands, which I always thought were initially, when my team made them up, I thought they were for the hair. I don't know if you can use them for hair, but they're for washing your face. So I travel with them. You can use them. And so water doesn't go down your arms. That's what they told me. So there you go. And these come free. You won't see them on the order invoice. They're included. That's what they look like on the right. They come in a nice box. Save those boxes, by the way. That's why I make all my boxes pretty cool, because recycle those. Like I put my microphones, this microphone here, I put them in those type of boxes with these. And when I travel, I can put things in there that are really delicate. So reuse my boxes. Okay, so that's the wristbands. And then, of course, I didn't want to come give a live stream without giving you guys something. But there you go. Text that number and you'll get a 15% off. I was told my whole life not to chew gum because it would build up my jaw. Lost that one. Never stopped. Guess that's the thing. Yeah, chewing gum. I mean, it was especially a thing if you did it from 15 to 25, but it became a common habit amongst smokers. I think that's part, they chewed gum a lot. But yes, it will build your masseter for sure. The problem is a lot of people get TMJ, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to Botox my masseter. And that's going to cost you money, because then you're going to lose that nice gonial angle that you got right here. So, there's a balance there, like anything. I don't particularly personally chew gum myself, but I know people that do. I really like the wristbands. I gifted some too. Thank you for gifting that. We send a lot of free gifts out for a lot of things. And if you're able to gift them, that helps grow our channel here. Yeah, thank you for commenting on the bands. Can you do one of these? Can you do one of these on the skin of the neck? Sure. You mean, can I do a live stream on the skin of the neck? I certainly have videos on it. I think that's a complete live stream, because you have to be very careful. Even if someone grabs their CO2 laser and says, hey, I'm going to CO2 laser your neck, you want to be careful. It's not as simple as using the same facial settings on the neck for a lot of people. You can get scarring on the neck. And when I started CO2, we did full ablative. That means, like right now, we put dots down. It's fractionated laser. So it's little pieces of dots of it. Why? Because what we found is if you put a dot of any laser, so erbium mags, everything else that you get done, your all the Fraxels that you might get done now, Cyton, Joule, put up one dot, you're going to have an area around that dot of skin that's not harmed. And that's why we use scatter patterns for the dots, so that we don't heat the skin too much, so you get less discoloration, don't stimulate the melanocytes. But that dot with normal skin around it heals way quicker than when we ablate the whole face. But the whole face, when you do the whole face, we got facelift-like results because we burnt the whole face and then it tightened up. And so I do have, we'll keep going with questions, but we do have a brand new feature that you guys asked for. And I heard you loud and clear. You wanted a way to ask me questions directly. So a lot of you can't make the live streams. Maybe you don't like commenting on the videos, not getting an answer on them. But I put this website up for you, store.rajanimd.com/topic. And what you can do is you can go in there and you can ask me a question directly. We'll put them together. I'll try and answer as many as I can, or all of them, but I'll make short form videos on them, and we'll also pop them up on live streams. I'm trying to get better on how to do these live streams. You can see we had a bandwidth problem today with the PowerPoint, right? So, but we're going to make them better, so I give you more value. But I have that available. So I'll put that link when all this is over in below. It's actually below all my videos, my latest videos now. So put that up again so that they can see that. So it's store.rajanimd.com/ and then you can ask me that question. We'll put that up again for you to read in a minute. So, because I think you guys have great questions and you always remind me of topics like the synthetic fat. You guys reminded me, oh, you want to learn more about it. And then it cues me up to know what you want to see. Um, so what to do for neck, loose neck skin, anything makes it more wrinkly or distressed. Anything makes it more wrinkly or distressed. Well, yeah, you got the neck is delicate skin. You don't have the oil production that you do on the face, right? And also the neck is complex because there's not a lot of fat. You cannot lose, pinch it. You can't lose that. You lose that, you're in trouble. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is you don't have the oil production that you do in the face. The other thing is people forget to put their sunscreen there. So prevention's key. Your retinols, your AHA are great, but you have to tone them down for many people for your neck, or you're going to get more signs of aging. And lasers have to be toned down for the neck too. And then you have a platysma muscle. So are you seeing the bands like that? Or are you seeing loose skin? Or are you seeing fat, too much fat? So the neck is very complex. We'll do a complete one. Is over-the-counter retinol a scam? No. So over-the-counter retinol, okay, let me answer this one. Should I use Plasma-Sure Glow Volufiline on my under eye? Let me grab mine. I got it right here. This is Plasma-Sure Volufiline. Some people say Volufiline. Should I use it under my eye, or can that make eye bags? You know, it's a great question because it supports facial fat. And in the studies of Volufiline were done on breasts. But what's important to understand is, and you'll watch a video I did with a PhD from Revision Skincare, which uses a lot of THD ascorbate. She believes that she lost a lot of facial fat after getting sick, and she used THD ascorbate to restore her facial fat. And yes, it absolutely will play a role in that. It's a type of vitamin C that's not L-ascorbate, so it doesn't have a low pH, and it's lipid soluble. So this isn't just Volufiline, it's also THD ascorbate, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide. There's other things in here. But to answer your question, how you do that, use it in the complete. Now, if you have the deep under eye bags, and you need, some people need surgery. So there's going to be a percentage of people, if you want them 100% gone, you might need to remove some fat. The problem is you don't want to remove all the fat. You want to reposition fat into the trough. The trough is there because of there's the herniation of your orbital septum, and the fat from the back comes forward, and bone loss around the eye. See how complicated this is? So in terms of a cream, you want to put this on your entire under eye for about 3 or 4 weeks. And then what I tell people is to put it on a Q-tip and put it just in the trough after 4 weeks. That's what I found the best way to use it, because you want to make, it's kind of like exercise. People say, well, if I exercise my body, how does my face look? If I strength train my body, how does my face look good? Because you're increasing serotonin, you're increasing blood flow, you're increasing your oxytocin a little bit, and you're increasing your testosterone a little bit. So your body workout absolutely affects your face, even if you don't work out your face. You get absorption of this around where you put it. So you want to put it on with a Q-tip into the trough after 4 weeks. But for the first 4 weeks, you want that whole area to get healthy. So that is the idea. And that's the best way to use it. This is interesting. You want to, okay, is NUA good for the neck? Yes. So let me go through this with you. NUA is our app. In Southeast Asia here, there's a ton of home devices, okay? People here understand that. They still go to the clinic every month in many cases, but they're doing their home treatments, okay? NUA has a built-in shutoff. So it gets to 41, high 41, but 42, 43, it will shut off. It takes some doing. It's not the easiest device for you to use, but the easy ones can easily harm your face because the temperature is erratic. This is actually made from an MD-Med in-clinic device. In fact, the head looks the same as what you're paying $500 in clinic for. So the NUA, yes, and it is 15% off now. If you text that number below, you'll get 15% off of NUA. But the device was FDA. This is, I mean, it was FDA. There's a study, an FDA study on this device. How many devices have that? They don't. But it was studied in females, and that's why they say you shouldn't use it in men. Of course you can use it in men. It just wasn't studied in men. But because they got that FDA trial done, They can't make a claim to you. I can make a claim because I'm a man and I use it. Okay, so on the neck, it wasn't studied for the neck. So they're not going to tell you it was used for the neck. We use it in the neck all day long. I use RF in clinic in the neck. You've done it for 20 years. I use this in the neck. My clients use this on the neck, of course, because it has a built-in safety shutoff. So if you're getting to the temperatures, and we know this pretty well because we measure in clinics the temperature where fat gets killed, 42 to 43 degrees. It's why your RF microneedling device goes to 67 degrees. I'm talking Celsius here, because that does kill fat. And you want fat killed off in certain parts of the face when we're sculpting it. But that's the story. Is the Halo 15% off too? Yes. Text that number, put in VIP, and the Halo is that off, is the percent. Everything on the store, I believe. Is there anything that can help hooded eyelids other than surgery? Both mom and grandma had 2 eyelid surgeries. I'm 40 and I'm getting there. Okay. Let's talk about surgery for a second. Eyelid surgery is one of the surgeries I tell people you can get that a little earlier than you think. Because if you're seeing hooded lids at 36, 37, 38, you're going to appreciate that result. If you don't like the hooded lids, some people don't care. But if you want them gone, do it earlier. A facelift, on the other hand, if you get one at 38, 39, 40, you're going to want another one at 53. The complication rate's 5% on your first one, and it goes up thereafter because it's now a revision facelift. It's the second one. If you get it at 53, you're going to want one at 67, 68. Now you've had 3 facelifts with 5%, 8%, 12% risk. Too high. But for the upper eyelid with a good surgeon, I tend to think my patients love, I always tell them, get that earlier if you don't like it. The only cream that I've ever seen work and is very amazing is the DEJI, and it was studied and built for the upper lid. And that, of course, it's on my website. And that is 15% off with everything today. But DEJI, I'm traveling with it here. I take that on the road now. DEJI and the DEJ serum for the face. I love those two. The DEJ serum of the face, I travel with my gua sha. Imagine the security guy when they see me coming through TSA pre-check with my gua sha, my 10 skincare, my wristbands. They think this guy's a freak. Thank God I don't take my creatine powder. So, okay, is this live going to be available to watch later? I want to watch it from the beginning. Absolutely. All the lives we have, I don't usually take them down unless it's a big special live. So it will be available later on the YouTube channel. How should you use Exobalm in your skincare routine? Exobalm's been amazing. It's made here in Korea. We brought it over to the United States. It's rose plant stem cell exosomes. A lot of data behind this in Korea. And how should you use it? You have free will here. I had a pico laser done on my face the other day, and I did it, I primed. So I use it like 4 days before was the only thing I used. Twice a day was Exobalm before the pico laser. And so you can prime it before your procedures or before your LED mask days or a day before you use your NUA device, or the morning. You can put, if you're using your NUA at night, put the Exobalm on in the morning. It's very hydrating. Not as hydrating, I think, for me as my Volufiline, and not as hydrating, of course, as my Ultra Moisture. So sometimes if you're really dry, you're going to need more than that. It can be a single step, or you can put it on after your Volufiline cream. But it goes before your heavy moisturizer, like an Ultra Moisture. It would go before your oils. If you're using face oils, like you guys know what you're using, castor oil and so on. Dr. Johnny, do I need to worry about regular microneedling causing fat loss due to the inflammation it causes? Love microneedling, don't want to stop it. Yes, you do. Wait. I don't know what time it is here, but I haven't even had breakfast yet. So I'm living on this coffee. So here's the thing with you're talking about microneedling. You might be talking about through a pen, like a microneedling pen. You might be talking about derma rolling. You might be talking about a stamp. It's all the same. The key is, if you're doing this at home, there's no need to really go below 1 millimeter. And it depends what slip you're using. You do not want to use a pro-inflammatory slip. Yes, your facial fat pad will be at harm. If you go deeper than 1 millimeter with a pro-inflammatory product, yes, you have to worry. What's pro-inflammatory? Anything that's not built for microneedling. And I know there's a lot of online stores that sell you the slip. Oh, you can do it with your retinol, your AHA. They might sell you a microneedling slip. I bet you it's not made to the standards for microneedling. Check it out. Is it medical grade? So for instance, for plasmasomes, mine's made in a USA monitored lab. I know exactly what's going into that. And you only need a 0.25 millimeter roller, which I include in the kit. And it's anti-inflammatory, it's healing. Plasmasomes are pointed signals to your skin. That's an example. What would others be if you're not using mine? If you're getting real, and it's very hard to get real in the United States, I'll tell you right now, I know the market. Things like Regeran, salmon sperm, PRN, I like that. If you're getting real exosomes, Benev would be a great company. That's all medical grade stuff. The majority of stuff you're seeing, I hate to say this, it's just like we talked about Retta, the weight loss deal that's coming from other countries because it's being clamped down here. A lot of it's coming and made overseas where it's uncontrolled. Yes, you risk your face, of course. You're putting holes in your face and you're putting a liquid in those holes. Do you not think there could be a problem? 100%. Only use stuff that's built for microneedling and find out where it's made. And to the point where I make mine in the USA for microneedling. That's how particular I want to be for that. I'm 47. I've always taken care of my skin. So far, so good. Amazing. Started hormone replacement therapy, creatine, and weight training. Jesus, good. This past year. So watch my protein. Anything I missed in summary, let's go through that. 47. If I'm 47 personally, if I'm a 47-year-old female, and over here, of course, in Asia, every clinic's going to measure everything for you cheap. In the USA, you're going to bend your doctor's arm to get your hormones and your thyroid and everything checked. But assume I would be testing my hormones. But you may have, because you're on hormone replacement therapy, so you're good. You're measuring levels. Creatine, great. Weight training, perfect. And watching protein. Anything you're missing. The biggest takeaway aesthetically for you on that: sleep, eating real food, and here's the one: it's regular skin treatments. This is the trend of the world, and I can't believe the United States and Canada particularly. I'm Canadian, I can talk about this. I can come down on the Canadians. We're terrible up there. Regular monthly treatments. Now, I don't care if you want to go to a clinic and get them, or if you want to build your home med spa, because you can build your home med spa now, and you can combine both. That's the best way. Some at home, some in the clinic. Red light therapy, proven now. There's over 100 studies of the mouth area using red light alone, just the mouth and gums, over 100. Okay, so red light. Home RF, you have that ability now. EndyMed, the NUA, it's the same product from an EndyMed, the company in clinic that charges $500 a pop. You get it at home for $400, 15% off today, or wherever you want to buy it. Those are steps. Good home skincare. I would say this: with why you're seeing the new RFs coming and the HIFUs coming to America, you're going to be doing low level of these every 3 months, 8 months for sure, 6 months, year for sure. Whole or in clinic skin tightenings like Zerf, Xtherma, Thermage will be superseded, and they're coming with eyepieces and everything from over here in Korea. So your hydrofacials, all this good stuff. If we don't want to do a facelift at 40 years old, can we try PDO threads instead? What an amazing question. First of all, it's whatever you want. I'm not, but if you're 40-year-old and you're a client of mine, or I'm talking my old 40-year-old self back when I was 40, there's no way I'm doing a facelift. There's no way I'm doing a facelift. Maybe you're saying, hey, I'm in Hollywood and I'm making millions. I don't know if I still would. You see males, they get too much of a brow lift. You know who. So you have to see someone's face to tell them. But at 40-year-old, I'm going in. Can you try PDO threads? Are not a replacement for a facelift. I love PDO threads. The baby face package that I have, that comes with PDO and PRF. But with minimally invasive, there's rarely a 40-year-old face that you can't turn the clock back 10 years. Remember, you have things like fat dissolvers in the face. You have RF microneedling. If you've got a fat face, you can kill fat. You can build fat. You with PRF, volume. You got fillers. You got Sculptra. Over here, you have something called Juvalook in Asia. Okay, so like Guri, you got tons of things to build volume and shape. So, and then you have devices, CO2s, everything. Should I use a red light mask if I'm melasma prone? I'll come to that one. Keep that one up. Red light and melasma is good question. I have a complete video. You should watch that. Most people get away with it, no problem. Where you're going to run into a problem if you're using wavelengths above 830, and at 830 in my halo mask, you can turn it off. So you only go red light. So if you're really melasma prone, get a halo mask, turn off the near infrared. So you only have the red, which is 630, and use it like 2 minutes a day, 4 minutes a day, 8 minutes a day. You get along great with that, turn the near infrared on. It's why I designed it in that way for the 5% of people that are going to have a problem. What is a biostimulator? Do you sell them? I inject them into faces. The most notable, if we have more of Americans here, are going to be PLLA, Sculptra, and Hyperdilute Radiesse. Those are both good. They're both FDA approved. Not Radiesse. Yeah, there is a study on it. I don't know that they have FDA approval for their dilution of that, but you can dilute your regular Radiesse into a biostimulator. So those are available to you in the US. They're great. There's a lot of fear about them because you actually look really good from them. So other companies and people who do surgical services, it's a threat to them because of how good they are. Oh, you can't get a facelift after, they cause scar tissue, all that. They're proven to build collagen. These are studied by the company, by independent, to have collagen growth. There's no topical that works. You don't microneedle them in, that doesn't work. There's no home biostimulator that you should be using. Very specific, any expert will use different dilutions of biostimulators on the bone, off the bone, in the temple, in the soft tissue, in the lower face. If you don't do that, if you don't mind your dilutions, you're going to look odd. That's the way it is. I've done tens of thousands of vials of these, tens of thousands of vials into people's faces. I can tell you that. Which treatment can I do first, ZERF or Easy Gel under the eyes? You can do those same day. For an under eye, ZERF isn't your number one go-to. Just do a ZERF if you're doing maintenance of full face. I have a complete video on ZERF, XERF. You should watch it. PRF for me by far for an under eye, because you're putting a layer on bone with a cannula. So the idea is, yes, like with Sculptra, you're kind of stimulating the bone, but you never use Sculptra under the eye. And then you're putting a layer in the fat pad around the eye. And there's 2 layers of fat. You have deep and superficial fat on the eye, above and below your orbicularis oculi, your eye muscle. So how to increase fat on the neck with loose skin. So I would say how to volumize the neck. To restore the fat, you can watch my videos on restoring the fat. That's difficult. To restore volume, I use a formula of PRF mixed with Radiesse. So it's a special formula. Injectors who follow me or train for me would know. But you inject it with a cannula, 22 gauge cannula, and you dilute Radiesse with PRF. That's what I said. You could do straight PRF without Radiesse to start, for sure. PRF, I use a cannula, and you have to be in a very specific layer of the neck. That's what I do. Thoughts on tretinoin? I like tretinoin. A lot of people can get away with lower than a tretinoin. A lot of people get too much inflammation with tretinoin, tazarotene. And what I do with my retinol is I add 3 forms of retinol in there, including retinaldehyde. But here's the key. I add THD ascorbate, which is what's in volufiline too, because a lot of people think you can't mix a retinol or retinoic with vitamin C. Traditionally, that's the case because they're thinking L-ascorbate. We use THD ascorbate, which is what? Lipid soluble. What's your neck? What's your face? Full of lipids. You want it to absorb. So it's not just about, but yes, I do like tretinoin. Start low, build up, don't get inflammation. And consider a retinol with retinaldehyde. That's my favorite. And one like mine, you're going to have a face oil in it, and you're also going to have THD ascorbate. And you need vitamin C for retinol to work. So that's why. Thoughts on Ultherapy for lifting and tightening opposed to a facelift or a mini facelift for a 46-year-old. So again, I'd have to see your face at 46. At 46, I don't want a facelift. I didn't want a facelift when I was 46. I don't feel like I needed one. Every face is going to be different. If you have a lot of sag, if you lift your face up and you let go, okay, so you're holding like this and put your thumbs underneath your, if you lift up like that and you let go and you go, oh wow, a bunch just fell, you're a candidate for a facelift. That's a simple test. You want to avoid a facelift as long as you can. That's what I would say. From years and years of experience, that's just, if again, it depends how you're getting paid in your world and how important that is to you. But facelifts do remove your skin. Remember, they do not add volume to your face. So if you have bony changes that are making you look old, the facelift's not going to make you look young. You will look young for 6 months, but look at yourself at a year, 2 or 3 after that facelift. You need volume. Does oral collagen supplements offer any benefits? Huge. So the first thing that people notice, and my clients when you're on a quality collagen supplement, we triple test ours. You don't want lead in there, you don't want bad things, and you want multiple types of collagen. Okay, you want multi-collagen peptides. So if you're on a quality one, first thing the majority of people notice is their joints, which I love because I play sports and the joints start to hurt more than the muscles. Okay, then you're going to notice, funny enough, nails and hair. And I would never have thought that. And then skin seems to be the third thing. That's overall by way of numbers. But there's just a study out the other day on collagen peptides again. But a lot of people don't believe it. But if you go to the comments below my collagen videos, look at what people say. People love them. So yes, collagen peptides are a staple. And here's the magic number. I didn't give you this in the PowerPoint. The magic number of weight loss that you can have before affecting your face is 10 pounds for most people. After 10 pounds, your next 10 pounds, you're going to look old. So you want to do that slowly. Collagen peptides, being on the right protein, exercising, eating real food, and consider pre-treating yourself with a biostimulator after your 10-pound weight loss before you lose the next 10 pounds. How do you fill troughs under the eyes? It's a great question. It depends on the depth. If super deep, tough eyes, you want to volumize the mid-face first. You want to volumize the temple and then go to the under eyes. If you need surgery, you need surgery. So let's go to that in-between person, or the person who's deeper but doesn't need it perfect, or the person that just has mild to moderate. So one of the best things all around the globe now, so there's 2 things you can do. If you're in, and this is off-label, in America, Canada, Health Canada hasn't fully approved PRF, but it's your own stuff. There's no additives, so it should be fine if I was there working. But it's not Health Canada approved, but you can add PRF and a little bit of filler. So I do 2 sessions of PRF and Easy Gel underneath the muscle of the eye and the liquid on top. And then if I needed anything beyond PRF and Easy Gel, I would add a little bit of filler. Now, it's important. You want a filler that doesn't draw water in. So something like Restylane would be good if you're in USA or Canada, or Restylane almost available globally. You don't want to use Juvederm, Ultra Plus, or ones that draw water in. So yes, use a bit of filler. The other thing you can use, if you're Europe, you have a lot of non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid options. Around different parts of the world, you also have PDRN, which you can try a little bit, or exosomes is another option. Toxin, Botox, Lativo, Dysport, that's not going to help an under eye bag, but that's a rough formula. Hi, doctors, should red light mask be used every other day or every day for the best results? Heard giving 1 day off gives a chance for collagen to build. You don't need the day off for collagen to build, but here's the thing. Your body, your cells, it's photobiomodulation. It's almost like a nutrient for your skin. What you're doing is, through cytochrome C oxidase, you're getting more ATP, more energy for your cells, particularly for the fibroblasts, in your case, to build collagen, to your point. They don't need a rest. They're going to take what they need. So there's diminishing returns, like my lecture on the gym. So Most people 3 to 4 times a week are fine. Say you're getting more sun. You want to use your mask every morning before the day starts. That there's some UV protective effect. That's studied. Say your skin is stressed, it's over inflamed, not from a procedure or anything, but I'm talking just general. You want to use it more, use your mask more, because your energy of your cells, your ATP, is being depleted quicker under stress. But most people 3 or 4 times a week is enough. It doesn't need a rest to build collagen. There's just diminishing returns the more you use it. Here's one thing you need to know. I would never use a mask if you own one with over 1,000. We don't do that. I wouldn't be wearing that. But if you do, that kind of a mask, you don't want to use too much because you're at risk for pigment changes. Is Botox safe for neck bands? Yes. I've injected thousands and hundreds of thousands of units of Botox in faces. Everything has a side effect. There's always going to be a few people with unusual side effects, knock on wood. But it's one of the safest drugs on the planet Earth. And people don't like that statement, but it's one of the most studied and safest drugs on the planet Earth. And of course, botulinum occurs in nature. You don't want to use too much of it, mainly because you're going to stop muscle pull in your face, and that's a bad thing. We want the muscle for your bone and for your fat pads. However, in the neck, for the neck bands, 20 units is on average. Botox you could use. Latibo is a great one, new one, up and coming. It's a Korean one that I like. Dysport works quicker. It's good. It's strong. That's another option. Dysport units are not equal to Botox units. Dysport vials are 100 or 300. Botox is 100, so it's about 1 to 3. But yes, neck band's great. I've pronounced nasolabial folds due to mid-cheek laxity, and they're so aging. That can be aging. Not nasolabial folds, but from the mid-cheek problem you're saying. I started Sculptra, but what else can I do, especially if I'm avoiding filler? I was thinking Softwave. Yeah, like I have like a hollow here, and I've done Sculptra probably 3 times to get that hollow here. And now, if you really want it gone perfectly, I'd have to add a little bit of filler. So it's not one or the other. I just hadn't got the volume with Sculptra. Maybe you're feeling the same, that I needed to. Nothing wrong with then adding a little bit of filler. I'm going to need less filler. I'm going to need it less often. Probably, I bet you, for your mid-face like that, if you've done some Sculptra and now you're going to get a little filler, it might be 5, 6, 7 years before you need more. And here's the beautiful part of that. The Sculptra would have created what I call collagen. It's proven to build collagen. Some people might call it scar tissue. We can debate that. But that's going to hold the filler better in place. It's going to be harder to place the filler because it's going to want to move around that collagen network. But when you get it to where you want it, it's going to last way longer because you did the Sculptra. So yes. What about TCA peels? I'm doing one soon. What percentage are you doing? When you 3% TCA, say in a VI peel or in combination peels, okay? So 3% is low. 5, 10%, home gamers do that. If you're getting towards a 20% TCA peel, which is great for browns, you just have to be very vigilant. Don't get scared by what you see, or have a professional do it even better. And when you start to see frosting, especially the first time, pull back, neutralize that. So TCA, love TCA. Is Profhilo similar to Radius or different? It's very, 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 very different. They're not even in the same time zone. Profhilo is non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid, common in the UK, common in Europe, not FDA approved in the United States. If you're getting it there, it's probably a fake. It's used in a BAP technique to add a bit of volume, and the molecules are held together by positive and negative charge. As opposed to Radius, is 30% of the syringe is calcium hydroxylapatite, 70% of the syringe is a filler type product, okay? So that goes away in 3 months. So only 30% of the syringe is calcium. And so calcium hydroxylapatite. So it's a biostimulator of sorts and a volumizer. You don't need to ever dissolve Profhilo because it's non-cross-linked HA, but you could if you needed to. And you cannot dissolve Radius no matter what people tell you. You have to be very careful. I like Radius. It's great. You got to be careful with it. To restore fat loss in the lower face with injectables, is Sculptra the only option? Absolutely not. It's a great option, but Sculptra, of course, every company right now is studying their product and the effect on fat because it's a $1 trillion market, fat. So Sculptor's studying it, of course, on fat in patients with GLP-1. Everyone is. However, for the lower face, what you're looking for is a bit of volume because you get loss of bone. And for females, the lower face is very aging, particularly because of estrogen changes, bone changes in the chin, and the mouth is a movement dynamic area, and the muscles take over when you lose support. So it's not just about restoring the fat, because there's not a lot of fat here, but it's skin tightening and volumizing. So Sculptor works great. Something you could use Radius. It's a little stiff for there. A great combination is Radius along the jawline for the highest G prime. Then use biostimulators through here. Sculptra. You could hyper dilute your Radius, but again, it's not your people are diluting it hand to hand. It's not perfect. And then use a little bit of filler or PDRN, salmon sperm facial stuff. You could use some exosomes, but they would need to be injected for them to work that well. And then your devices. But it's about volume. It's not necessarily about fully getting fat there. Thanks for all the information for men. I'm going to be buying your red light mask. Yeah, it's interesting. I think 95% of people watching the channel are women. I don't talk enough probably about men, but you can follow what I do. Being a man, I'm doing a lot of the similar stuff. So you can follow what I'm talking about. Thoughts on a mini facelift at 40. Here's the problem with the mini facelift. First of all, you got to talk about what is a deep plane facelift. What actually is that? It's just become a keyword of what's been done for 20 years. It's manipulating the SMAS level. Different surgeons are going to do that to a different degree, but you're right there above the nerves of the face. So that's why this will come out soon, how many side effects are occurring from these deep plane facelifts. It's not that they're higher number of side effects now in percentage, but the percentage, so many people are doing them, that 5% is becoming notable in quantity. So a mini facelift, the problem is you're removing skin and everything, but until you get to the ligaments and the SMAS and maybe removing some muscle or tightening the lower neck with tightening the musculature of the lower neck is a good way to write that or say that. A lot of times you're going to be unimpressed at 2 to 3 years and you've gotten cut. My answer for me and my clients is when you delay the facelift to the point where you can no longer take it, then you do a complete full facelift, not mess around with the mini. Now, if you want to do it, go do it. But that's how I feel about that. Vivian, I'm impressed on how you remember each component and even percentage of each product. It's just that I've done it forever, and I've worked with almost all companies to some degree or not. And so you name a product, and many times I've helped in some way, shape, or form with the development of that product. I appreciate your kind words there for sure. But it's just being a dinosaur in the industry. That's all. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's see what we have here. God, there's just accolades for me, and I appreciate that. I'm not going to put them up, but all you people say nice things, but I do like to see it. Okay, this is a good one. Let me put this up, see if I can get up. This new red light mask. I don't think you mean new. I think you mean new red light mask. Pulsed red light. Oh, my new red light mask. I've read it's better than constant light to the skin. This is a good question. To avoid possible damage. No, we looked at pulsed red light. There is pulsed red light out there. I didn't find enough evidence for it. When people talk about it, here's the thing. People that talk about this stuff, you want to ask them one thing. And I mean, I know I say this once in a while, but have you seen a real patient ever in your life before? And they haven't. They're just spewing stuff on a study that was done in a rat, a mice, or sponsored by a company, because most are studied. In real humans, in real life, which is what I think all the thousands of you watching care about, is what does it do in humans? I haven't seen enough for me to add pulse red light, but PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field, I added to my Duo Glow under eye and the new Halo mask because we've seen dramatic changes with PEMF. And it's studied in bone healing, and many of you use PEMF mats. So you know, that's pulsed electromagnetic field, and it's way different than, so I do not pulse the light because we just haven't seen a change, but there's definitely no damage unless you're going above 1,000 nanometers in your wavelength. The longer the wavelength, the deeper the penetration. Okay, so that's the difference in one of the differences in wavelength. So when you talk about when you're targeting reds, it's why we go down to the 500 nanometers in lasers and IPLs, because it's more superficial and we're targeting different colors. So wavelengths are so important. Should I use Bellafill since it's permanent? I want a stronger jawline, cheekbones. Great question. I injected thousands of vials of Bellafill. In Canada, it was first introduced before the US. Articol and Arteplast. It was made in Germany by a father-son and then sold. The original ones, Articol and Arteplast, the size of the molecule was not good. They were irregular, anywhere from 20 to 200 microns in size. So when they made Bellafill, they made it all uniform, around 60. And that made all the difference. I like Bellafill. You don't put Bellafill ever under an eye. You never put it in the lips. This stuff has been done before, but I would never do it. And I see complications from that. Cheeks are good. Jawline is good if you know someone at what depth you put it in, depending how much you use. Permanent is good until it's not. What's the risk? If your body reacts to and get a granuloma or whatever, which is rare, it's less than 1% studied, it's tough to deal with. They usually go away on their own, but sometimes they leave irregularities. That's the problem. So if you do not have autoimmune disease, you have a great injector, the cheek and the jawline are good. Go subtle on the jawline, build it up over time. You don't have to do it, and you never want to do it all at once with Bellafill. It is permanent. What is the best for sagging around the mouth? A combination of things. Obviously skincare, obviously lifting the upper face. If you have a sagging upper face and you just go and address your lower face, you're toast, because you're going to have a bigger lower face and your upper face looks old. Hopefully that term isn't triggering people. Okay, so you want to address the upper face always. That's why every face is $5,000 to $25,000, $50,000, because if you're at the point 50 plus and you have lower face sagging, we address the upper face first, so it's congruent. Then we go to the lower face. And there's not one best thing. It's first your skincare. Try your NUA at home. You'll have that for life. Your red light mask, the lip and mouth, the red light we have for the lower face. Maybe putting a little bit of lip filler in, because when you lose volume in the lip, it tends to go down. A little toxin at the DAO, the depressor anguli oris, 3 units of Botox or Lativo, Dysport at either side to get that muscle from stopping to move down, and then supporting it with biostimulators. That's what I would do. What do I have when I'm traveling with? You guys know I'll travel with a gua sha. Maybe one of and I have that revision skincare on now. Maybe one of the nicest things that I use for my jowls is right there. And you get immediate effect. Obviously gua sha, you can use the cheap stone if you have a good one. But there's vibration, you can hear that. And then there's red light. You can turn off the vibration, just keep the red light. But gua sha is great. It's a very inexpensive way to sculpt the face. I travel with this. So many of you using the gua sha, you'll know. What does it do? Well, of course, you got your red light. Vibration, of course. I did a whole video on the bone and the inhibitory factors of bone growth and how vibration helps with bone. You can watch that. Also, of course, increasing blood flow. And the red light at the same time, if you're using the red light on it, it's going to improve the ATP, the energy of the cells, without harming the discoloration. Because a lot of people have a downturn of the mouth because there's discoloration down here that's uneven. When the skin comes down, the pigment moves together. And so in a facelift, a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to have fat added here, not because you want the volume, but to change the light reflection. So if you use makeup, you know, when skin comes together, it gets darker. So when everything falls down, and the skin color is half of the problem for your jowl. That's why people use makeup. So it's why we put fat down here. It's why we put fillers down here to reflect the light differently. And if you get a Tyndall effect, a blue color from your filler put too superficially here, you'll say my jowl got worse. It's reflection of light, even though it's totally smooth and the jowl's gone. Crazy stuff, right? But all of that stuff has to go through your injector's mind. And if you text to that number today, you'll get your 15% off of everything in your cart. So gua sha would be on sale today too. And of course, I have a Hydroglow oil that we use with it. So I've been using your gua sha for about a month and love it. I didn't realize how much of a static lymphatic system I had, and the change I've noticed is dramatic. And thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. And Jennifer, what drives me crazy is that you're going to get people, the naysayers online, they're going to say, Rajan, he's talking about gua sha. He can inject all these products in the face, but he's telling you to buy a $100 gua sha with red light and vibration. Yeah. And you are a human in real life using it that didn't do surgery, that didn't need whatever else with it, and you're seeing great results. And someone's going to tell you that I'm crazy for telling you that, whereas the real humans that aren't making a ton of money off this, no company is going to ever study gua sha because there's no money in it. If they're not studying they're not bringing out Ureta, the brand new weight loss drugs that build your muscle, because they can't make their money back because of compounding pharmacies, they're certainly not going to put $1 million. That's what it takes to make a real study, $1 to $5 million to study something, a real one. So thank you. And the mouth device, do you need the separate eye mouth ones if you have the mask? If so, do you use them all daily? I use the mask like 3 times a week. I have to admit, I have my mouth device here, traveling with it. Like I said, my suitcase probably looks ridiculous to the security people, but I travel with it and I use the red light for the gums and for the lips. It's made a huge difference for my lips. They're redder. I have a little more volume, but I'm more worried about my teeth and jaw, and using the red light for that so I use that daily. I use teeth whitening in the trays maybe every 4 months, 5 months. I don't want super white teeth personally for me. And red light mask 3 times a week. But which ones you need? The lip and mouth, there's nothing doing what that does. If you put that in your mouth, look at how your lower face glows up, because the red and the near infrared, I put 6 different wavelengths in that device. So it goes deeper. So when you put that in your mouth, you're getting diffusion in the mouth, around the tongue, for the gums. The bone around the jaw, there's bone that you want to study called alveolar bone. That's really important. When you lose a tooth, watch what happens to your jawline. You lose definition of your jawline because the plasticity of that alveolar bone. I'll show you my red light device here, just so you see what I'm using every day. This is it here. And what I do every day is the red light, when I put this attachment on. So this red light is doing the outer, and the tray is doing the inner. So, and I can work while I can't talk. You guys know I'm a talker, I guess. So it stops me from talking, but watch this. Look at how much inside my mouth, around my jaw, to my nose, the piriform aperture. Why do people get a lip lift? Because the maxilla bone involutes, right? Look at the red light. So when you guys are all worried about the position of the red lights and that, oh, my mask only has 50 lights, or my mask versus a mask that has 300 lights, you see how erroneous you are, okay? Not to offend you, you're erroneous. Forget the number of lights. Look at the quality and the distribution. Okay, so that I use this every day, every single day, and the tray it's all easy to clean. And then, of course, for those that don't know, because a lot of people use it for cold sores and different things, you can attach the cold sore piece. And this is a good test, because you see this light here is 1072. And so you don't see that light, but it's there. There's a little green indicator. See that? And then if you want to treat for cold sore prevention, but you also want to treat the red for inside, you can do that. And there's another tray that you can put in for whitening, if whitening, the blue. So you're getting like, I don't know, like 6 different devices. It's crazy, all in one. And it's a top seller now. And dentists know, excuse me, dentists know how they're in their programs, they're taught now about red and blue light. And in fact, when you're putting crowns in or fake teeth, their light is used to help the glue bond. So light is now studied in the mouth, particularly red light. Okay, I will stay on here as long as I have a voice. How to get fed of face reds. How to get rid, I'm going to say that's rid of face reds. Small broken vessels. I think I have light skin. Reds really bother people, and particularly women. After the age of 40, you're going to notice that you get more reds. Check your thyroid, check your labs, check everything. But reds are a part of the skin tone. Rosacea, there's multiple different forms. In general, you want to get diagnosed first. What is it? For most people, it's a form of rosacea. They get red with wine. If they get too much warmth, sun exposure, saunas, or just statically at rest. At a certain point, you're just going to have a red tone. Number one still for me is a good user of IPL. Now, DEJ, the DEJ eye serum that I mentioned, they have the DEJ serum for the full face. That's also worth a good try. Red light helps a lot of people, and I'm making a video on that now. Red light, because it decreases the inflammation in the face, and the inflammation plays a big role in your reds. So, but how you want to start red light, so red light mask, is you start it slow if you have reds. 90% of people are going to do great with it, but 10% won't. But you start your red light mask and you start a minute. Then you go to 2, wait a few days, go to 4, wait a week, go to 8, then go to your full red light. Start with red only and then go add your near infrared as you can. So rosacea, as you know, if you have it, it's something you have to, it's like melasma. It's troublesome, very treatable. You can get rid of it, but it's trying different things. But red light is a 20% glycolic acid pad, safe to use once a week for men's skin. Yes. 20%, like when we're doing a deep peel with glycolics, that's around 50%. Okay, so 20% on a pad, you're probably okay. Remember, you can do 1 swipe. The pads are going to be pretty wet. You can do 2, you can do 3, and you can wait 20 minutes before layering it with a ultra moisture, or you can layer it within a minute or 5 minutes. That's all going to determine the strength. Cleanse your skin, use your pad. Men's skin's, the dermis is usually going to be thicker, the testosterone effect, so you're usually going to have more oils than a female. That's why the 20% is going to be universally okay for a man. How about this? You're asking, how about a peptide that actually builds collagen? GKU isn't all that. Yeah, so copper peptides. And look, I said earlier in this stream, I don't see any peptide going to get FDA approval of the type of peptides that you guys are talking about, like your GKU, because there's no money in it. And the problem is that you don't know if they're pure, you don't know what's in them, you don't know where they're made. And people want the cheapest. Of course, there's inflation, the economy's in trouble. So people are looking for the cheapest. As you go to the cheapest, or they're going to be less well sourced typically. You got to know who's putting this in. And yes, there are side effects, and people are taken to the hospital, and people are in ICUs because they're getting this. You got to be careful. I'm not big. I'm very intrigued by peptides. Peptides can be the future, but the way they're marketed and used right now, you got to be careful. Do I like laser light therapy masks? Not at all. Laser light therapy mask. All laser means it's a coherent beam of light. Okay, so you have a coherent beam of light that has to be scattered before it gets to you. And they put things in there to scatter it. If it was truly a laser mask, you'd have dots all over your face, because also a lot of those are using 1072s, 1074, 1070 wavelengths. So I do not like laser masks, and a lot of them aren't real lasers. That's what I would say about that. Is castor oil good for your face? Many people like it. I use it once in a while. Castor oil is thick, so you got to be careful. It's going to get all over your bed. It's going to get all over everything. So, but it works well. And for dry eye, you can put some on your, you don't put it directly in, but you can put it on the brow. And when you put it on the brow, it will then get in, you'll get around that area. So I would say, yes, castor oil is good. It's not, it's not some magic that you have to, it's going to do everything for everything, but you have to really be mindful and use it accordingly. Be careful for your sheets, and you might do it a couple times a week, but people do love it, and be careful what you layer below it. Judy had a smart move. I want to see what she was saying. I missed that. God, people are commenting on Judy's comment, and I missed it. But anyway, that's the story of peptides. Be super careful. Um, so that's what I would say with those. And face oils are great. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. I think it's getting late into the night for a lot of you. I will share this live stream with your friends. You'll have a period of time to use that coupon code. We'll throw that up for you. And share the live stream. The more we grow on these live streams, we're not a channel looking for controversy. We're not a channel looking for conspiracy theories. It's a smaller, over time, a smaller group of people with like-minded ideas, and we're sharing best practices. And so that's what we are. So share with your friends who might be like-minded and might be interested in what we do. And remember, I'll answer your questions below these videos. We'll have a link where you can send me direct questions. Happy to answer them. We'll do more live streams. Let me know what you guys want to see. I really appreciate all of you for being here. And let me know what you want to see in the next one. Make it a super amazing week. Thank you.